The very mention of death often sends a shiver down our spine. Most of us avoid even talking about it, as if ignoring it might somehow keep it away. But why does this word hold so much fear? Perhaps because death remains the greatest mystery of life, a truth that no one can escape, yet few truly understand. But is death really as terrifying as we make it out to be? Or have we been looking at it from the wrong perspective all along? Paramhansa Yogananda once said that no death is accidental. At first, this statement feels unsettling. How can the sudden passing of a young person in an accident or a child, leaving this world just days after birth, already be part of some plan? How could a vibrant young woman suffering from cancer have chosen this experience? Yet, Yogananda reminds us that the soul makes decisions before every incarnation, not just about how to live, but also about what lessons to learn, what experiences to have, and even when to leave this world. The body, he explained, is like a garment the soul wears. When it becomes worn out, or when the soul's lessons in that body are complete, it is naturally set aside. Life and death are not enemies. They are two necessary milestones in a much longer journey of the soul. Each time we are born, we bring with us unresolved karmas, unfinished stories, and deep desires from our past lives. The circumstances we step into, our family, our challenges, and even the time of our departure, are carefully chosen by the soul for growth and evolution. Many spiritual masters and yogis have said that the time of death is not random, but predetermined. In fact, some saints even know the exact day and moment of their passing. Yogananda himself once shared a touching story about one of his disciples. The disciple quietly told him that he felt his time was near. Instead of showing concern, Yogananda smiled and said, "When the soul gives you this sign, there's no need to fear." A few days later, the disciple entered a meditative state and peacefully left his body. Often, souls give us hints before they depart. An elderly person might suddenly feel the urge to settle old matters, apologize to loved ones, or talk about long-forgotten memories. Others may dream of departed family members or feel a mysterious sense of completion. These are not coincidences. They are signals that the soul is preparing to transition. Some people, just days or weeks before death, experience a deep and unshakable peace, something they may never have felt before in their entire lives. Others may choose a sudden departure, like a heart attack or an accident, as a way to quickly move on to their next stage of existence. Meanwhile, some souls choose a slower, more gradual path, such as a prolonged illness or old age, to help them gently release all attachments before moving on. All of these scenarios are not punishments or misfortunes. They are part of a soul's intricate plan for growth. Yogananda taught that the moment of death is one of the most powerful and transformative experiences for the soul. The consciousness we hold in those final moments determines the direction of our journey afterward. If the soul leaves in a state of love, surrender, and serenity, it naturally rises to higher planes of existence. But if the soul departs while clinging to fear, pain, or emotional attachment, it may become restless and wander. That's why spiritual traditions around the world emphasize chanting prayers, singing hymns, and creating an atmosphere of peace at the time of someone's passing. The Bhagavad Gita also reinforces this truth, teaching that whatever we hold in our mind at the final breath becomes our destination. Death, then, is far more than the cessation of physical life. It is a gateway that shapes the soul's next chapter. This is why practices like meditation, self-reflection, and remembrance of the divine are not optional extras, but vital preparations for this ultimate transition. Some souls return quickly to earth after death, taking another body to complete unfinished karmas or to resolve emotions like anger, regret, or deep attachment. There have been countless cases of children recalling vivid details of past lives, memories that later get verified. These stories remind us that the cycle of birth and death continues until the soul achieves complete liberation. After death, the soul moves into subtler realms, often called the astral or spirit world, where it reviews the life it just lived. In this state, souls are often guided by enlightened beings, divine mentors, or even ancestors who have already crossed over. The level of clarity and freedom the soul experiences in this phase depends on its spiritual maturity. A more evolved soul has greater awareness and choice, while a less developed soul may remain clouded by desires or confusion. When the time comes to reincarnate, the soul wraps itself once again in the veil of Maya, or illusion, forgetting its past lives so it can fully immerse itself in its new experiences. However, advanced souls and enlightened masters often choose to retain some memory of previous lifetimes because they incarnate with a purpose, to help humanity awaken. Yogananda once compared death to sleep. Every night, when we drift into deep slumber, our consciousness separates from the body and enters subtler dimensions. If we go to bed in prayer or meditation, we practice letting go, just as we will eventually do at death. Those who cultivate peace, devotion, and inner strength in life often find that the moment of death becomes a serene and even joyful passage. This is why so many traditions light lamps, chant sacred mantras, or sing devotional songs during a loved one's final hours. These aren't empty rituals. They are powerful ways of lighting the soul's path as it moves toward its next destination. Death is not a tragic ending, but a sacred transition, a deeply spiritual process that carries the soul closer to its divine home. Unfortunately, modern society often reduces death to nothing more than a biological event. But those who have glimpsed beyond the physical know that death is a profound and holy transformation. When we truly understand this, much of the fear surrounding death dissolves. We begin to approach the passing of loved ones with gratitude and love instead of endless grief, and in turn, life itself becomes more precious. Every relationship, every moment begins to feel like a gift. Death, far from being the end, is like returning home after a long journey. And when seen this way, it teaches us to live fully and deeply. Instead of running from it, we can embrace it as a guide, a reminder that life is temporary, but the soul is eternal. If this message has inspired you, consider sharing it with others who may find comfort in these insights. And if you'd like to explore more about the soul's journey, spiritual wisdom, and the timeless teachings of great masters, be sure to subscribe to Voice of the Masters. Together, let's walk this path of understanding and bring light to life's greatest mysteries, so that when the time comes, we can greet death not with fear, but with peace and reverence.